Surviving Sister Wives contains adult content that may not be suitable for Latter-day Saints or sinners. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to Surviving Sister Wives.
I'm Corey.
And I'm Carly, and this is Season 19, Episode 28, One-on-One, Part 3.
Slowly but surely making our way through the tell-all special for Season 19 here. This is Part 3 of 4, so it's our penultimate episode to Season 19.
How are you feeling about the one-on-ones overall this year?
I think there's like one piece of information each episode that is kind of new or can be seen in a new light, but it's not really very enlightening, I don't think. Not a ton of new information to be divulged here.
I was really psyched about the first one, and as they've gone on, I'm getting pretty bored. I don't think it's Suki's problem.
No.
I think it's that they don't want to answer a lot of questions, particularly Kody and Robyn. And if we're going to make them into the villains of the whole thing, they have to answer stuff, or it's just boring to have all of the commentary coming from one direction.
Who would you rather have it come from? 98 Degrees, Backstreet Boys, NSYNC?
NSYNC, of course.
Of course. Obviously.
The official stance of the podcast.
But no, that's not what this episode's about. The episode description for this one is, in part 3 of this one-on-one interview special, Meri discusses her distrust over Coyote Pass. Janelle describes button pushing and defines love bombing, while Suki asks the big question, who gets the luggage rack?
The burning question that's been on everyone's mind for all 28 episodes this season.
Why did that kind of feel like a Carly episode rewrite?
It did, right?
It had the pacing, the rhythm.
Look, mine's better.
Okay, yeah.
I'm going to one-up them.
Let's hear it.
Christine confirms the D was not fire. Suki gets the recipe for David's magic sauce. Kody exposes the war against true love. Robyn's confession leaves someone speechless.
I could have done without the special sauce, myself personally.
So we have Kody's brownie batter, and now we have David's magic sauce.
Magic? Was it magic or was it special sauce?
I think she said magic. She can't use special sauce. Isn't that like trademarked?
Yeah, Ronald McDonald Esquire is going to come for his...
You don't want Mickey D to come after you. That's for sure.
Yeah, he's going to be coming for his share.
The theme of this whole episode is going to be sex and money, the two topics that they have avoided talking about in the past.
I think that Kody has been able to convince the wives to not bring up on camera in the past. That would make him look bad, but he would bring it up. He would bash Meri any chance he would get in terms of money and finances.
And intimacy.
Oh yeah, sex and money. Right. Those are the two things. Hasn't stopped him before, though. So I don't know why this is a whole new territory here where he's able to explore this now. Uncharted waters here.
You want to jump in?
Yeah, I think we just kicked it off. It was Coyote Pass talk, which is very anticlimactic because we started this entire season with the sale of Coyote Pass in terms of real time.
We already know what happens.
The ending has been spoiled for us. So you need to move this along because it's not interesting. It's not compelling. It's just filler at this point.
Okay, what I did like was showing them Kody's meeting with the secret realtor that I don't think they knew about until they saw the footage. That's the good stuff I'm here for. Tell me about all the shitty things that happened along the way that you're mad about. But we really didn't even get any of them digging into that too much.
Well, it's just a lot of distrust, mistrust, no trust. You can't have land if you don't have trust. I think that's what it comes down to. I would like to have this real estate agent's license revoked, though, because then Kody's telling him, hey, you come to me with the offers, I'll tell them about it, and then I'll let you know whether or not we're going to sell. That seems wildly inappropriate to go ahead and do that.
I don't think that I don't know, not a realtor, a real estate sales professional, anything of the sort, but I'm guessing that that's okay. Maybe it's like ethically a little bit on the line, but the thing that would really suck is that if he does all this work, he gets them a deal, and then the other partners don't want to sell the property.
Well, here's what it comes down to. Kody's name is legally on all the parcels, so technically Kody does have the say to sell this outright.
But doesn't he need Janelle and Meri and Robyn to agree to it? Just because you're one of the owners, you're one of many owners. Can you be the one who sells the property without the other owners approving it?
I don't know how their contract was written up as part of the agreement that was made for those separate plots or the plots that have other people's names on them, but Kody's name is on all of them, and I believe he would have technically majority ownership of all of the plots.
Okay, I want to talk about that.
Yeah.
That's what I want to hear you talk about, Suki. Go take your, I don't know, some online course and get a certification in being a realtor, doing the realtor things. I want to know the in-depth questions around that. Because we didn't even get that much talk about Coyote Pass. It just goes back to talking about how they're all pretty sure that Kody's going to fuck everyone over.
Yeah, Kody usually needs to come out on top in terms of deals that he makes. Janelle thinks that Kody came out ahead on Coyote Pass, which that's pretty funny because the numbers that we ran, it was pretty darn close, cutting it close to the wire there as far as making the money back on the original investment.
Yeah, but they don't know how it's going to end up yet at this point in time.
Yeah, and like I guess also Kody's kind of playing with house money because anything in the family pot, most likely Meri put that money in there. So it's not Kody's money that he's risking at this point. It's all tied up in Coyote Pass. Doesn't really matter. The only person who made the right deal on Coyote Pass was Christine, hands down. She got out early. She got out as soon as she could. And she was like, good luck to all you. I'm not sticking around to see how this plays out. It's going to be a shit show.
Kody was looking really confused when they played the part of the clip where Janelle was like, what else could he say about us? Why are you so scared of Kody? He's going to talk shit about us anyway. So let's just do what we got to do to protect ourselves and not care what he says.
Uh-oh, they're wising up.
You think that's what that was? I don't think he registers all of the things that he says about them.
Are they worthying up? Are they wising up? They're doing a little bit of everything out on Coyote Pass this season. Just Meri and Janelle. They're getting wise to the tricks here. But it just devolves into all of the illustrations of Kody's favor towards Robyn. It's fairness, equality, equity amongst the wives. It never really existed.
No, the bombshell I wanted to hear more about was Christine saying Kody and Robyn dug their hands into the family pot more than anyone else. And that she knows that because Janelle confirmed it. Because we know Janelle is kind of in charge of the money, but not really, but sees where the money's coming and going.
She at least has some receipts. She's the bookkeeper, so she can see the money going out. She doesn't control where the money's going.
My gut tells me Janelle just knows the login for the family account and that she occasionally checks it.
That's all it takes.
I don't think that the responsibility went much further than that. She logged in to download the annual statement to pay their taxes, and she had a little look-see while she was in there.
Not even to pay the taxes, to send that information to the accountant who would file their taxes, allegedly.
Paperwork, just organizing the
A paperwork
for
shuffle.
the shuffle.
Yes, absolutely. How do we feel about Kody's allegations that Robyn lost out on her first TLC paycheck?
Okay, I thought that's hilarious that Kody remembers every time that Robyn got less than everyone else, but he can never point out a time where somebody else got screwed, or he won't acknowledge it, but he remembers all of the times that Robyn got less money.
Well, I would have to say that is very impressive. A magical deal of if you didn't get your first TLC paycheck, that you are then entitled to everyone else's paycheck for the next 10 to 15
Right?
years where you're filming.
Your first check out of 20, that she's still getting paid back for that. They're still reimbursing her.
It's still going on. She's still dipping into those funds. And that's, yeah, we haven't been made right. We haven't been made whole on that first paycheck yet.
And neither has Meri. She's like, I contributed a lot to the point that she had to have an accountant come show Robyn and Kody the literal receipts.
The books.
Because they would not acknowledge the fact that she put in a lot more money than everyone else throughout the years.
Okay, here's the messed up thing, because why wasn't this a segment of the show or the tell-all? Because Kody was accusing Meri of holding out on the family. She's not contributing enough money in terms of the family finances. So they're going to do an internal audit to see Meri's net worth in the family.
She got audited by Kody and Robyn.
And she had to hire an accountant to then validate all of her contributions so far. Where is a 5-part special of that. I need to see footage of them.
Do you still have all of the paperwork? Because we'll go
Please.
through it. We'll do a 2020 kind of special. That's part 5 of our one-on-one.
We'll just peruse through.
A Caleb Hammer type audit.
Financial audit.
Of the Brown family pot. But that's kind of Janelle's fault that they didn't know all the money going in, going out, who it belonged to. Like, did he accuse Janelle of cooking the books? Because he tries to claim she left him with a real mess.
Janelle set the entire family up for failure in terms of their finances. And Kody's just trying to balance it out. He's just trying to figure out, clean up the mess that was left to him because he was really hands off when it came to the finances before. And now he's getting involved because we're going to start talking about Kody's 2 sacred cows, sex and money, particularly in the episode, which ironically is also the 2 things he associates most with Robyn. So I guess those would be the reasons why they are sacred cows for Kody. What else comes to mind but sacred cow? The sacred cow.
The sacred cow.
Yeah.
The Brown family sacred cow. This wasn't new information, though. We know that that's what Kody was trying to do, right? He attacked Meri's self-worth. He attacked Christine on intimacy and then came for Janelle with finances.
He hits them where it hurts. And that's what Christine was saying about how he knows what buttons to push and then he doesn't take any accountability for then pushing those buttons and causing the reactions that he gets. I liked Robyn's answer, though, on her reasoning of why this is all being so blown out of proportion. It's all this recency bias. It's rewriting history. It's all of these weaponized therapy terms that Robyn has been able to jot down and parse and take pieces of to then just keep in her back pocket so then that way she can use those in vulnerable moments like this at the tell-all.
Okay, I was going to give Robyn a compliment, actually.
I wasn't.
I guess I must have missed all of that part of her answer.
Okay.
Because I was focused on the fact that she said the wives weren't all bad.
The wives weren't all bad.
No, I mean, like, they weren't 100% bad. There was no one who was inherently bad all the time. Kody may try to make it seem that way, but that's a rewriting of history. Their checks cleared. So that's going in the pros column for Robyn.
Yeah. Cash cows, not sacred cows. That's what Robyn's here for.
No, I thought you were going to talk about, you're talking about therapy terms. We get schooled by Janelle about love bombing from narcissists.
Yeah. Well, Suki was very confused at the term love bombing, so I guess she hadn't talked to Robyn yet. Maybe Janelle's interview was before Robyn's in the one-on-one special here. But Janelle's naming it directly. Well, when you deal with narcissists, there's sort of a cycle that happens.
It's like the air got sucked out of the room when she said narcissist, because Suki's been waiting for someone to use that word for 4 years now so that she can ask the question, is Kody a narcissist? Do you believe that?
Which Janelle has to let us all know that she's not qualified to provide an official diagnosis. I'm not certified to use that word in a professional capacity. But hey, if the shoe fits, that's how I've been dealing with him. And it's been
seems
easier.
Like it, huh?
Yeah, like when I've been approaching our interactions through the lens of viewing Kody as a narcissist, our interactions have been a little bit more palatable.
Were you trying to say that Robyn has been love bombing Suki?
Was I making that
Yeah,
claim?
when you were just saying that, you know, Suki, whose interview was first, that Suki didn't know about love bombing.
Oh, I figured that, yeah, Robyn would have defined that for her, or it would have come up in her Mad Libs jumble of therapy words that she is using to protect herself. You're just using that word because I said it first. But then we get into Miss Independent with Christine.
Yeah, we got the money. Let's clear that off the table because we're going to need to make room for what's about to happen on top of here.
Clear it off the table? Or are you going to, you're going to violently brush it aside, knock everything to the ground?
She just wanted some passion, some emotion behind the sex, and it did not happen in her relationship with Kody.
Sex was only an act between them. It was a duty. It was a responsibility as part of their marriage. And we've heard Kody say that the act is easy on previous tell-alls.
That's what he meant.
Is that what he meant?
Yeah, this act.
Was this act easy 5 times a year with Christine? It's rough when you put a number on it.
I think it involved a lot of work, actually.
Yeah, I think it was too much work. Like, Kody was upset with the expectations that Christine had for these acts. She had acts, plural, in mind for what was going to take place.
She made those 5 days last.
Oh, it was 5 days, not just five times?
I'm okay.
Five
Five
whole
times,
days.
you're right. That does not mean that they happened on separate days.
Well, yeah. And also because, hey, maybe that's how she counts them, is she needs a whole day.
Well, do you think that Ken is able to endure more than one jizz fast a year?
It takes a lot out of you.
So,
Ken from, you're talking about Gypsy Rose.
yes.
Yeah, not that we mistakenly referred to Kody as Ken. We know who these people are. I think that was why Kody was so happy that Christine found David. She found someone who can keep up with her, who can provide all these things that Kody was unable to provide. It's a lot less responsibility for him to take care of Christine. Now that's David's responsibility. So that's good. That's a net win for Kody overall.
Maybe they needed a brother husband set up then. I think
Maybe.
that's how they could have made the family last. He just needed to outsource that responsibility to somebody else.
Which is why it went to the top of Christine's priority list when she started dating. And she was like, hey, I'm not going to seriously date anybody unless I'm getting a test drive. I got to make sure these parts line up.
Can we blame her?
No.
You're in a marriage for so long where that was a missing part of your relationship, and you got shamed for it, for wanting more than you were getting 5 times a year.
Guilted into, thinking that was just absurd, that you would expect more than that.
Well, and it wasn't even just the physical intimacy, it was the emotional intimacy that he kept away from her too.
Just being present in general. I think that was a big ask as part of their marriage.
I was really uncomfortable that they had David on the couch the whole time, though, as they were talking about how great Christine's sex life is now that she's married to him.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's bound to come up at some point. The comparisons don't stop there. They had a whole track list of PDA clips that they were going to play for everybody.
Why was Kody so into the clip show?
He was very excited about it. He was impressed with Christine's manifestation skills. I think that's what it was that she has been wanting exactly this. What you're seeing on these clips, that's what she wanted, and I wasn't able to give that to her. So it's a miracle she was able to imagine this person into existence here who can provide all those things for her.
Don't you wish that was the attitude that he had this entire time when she left? Go find someone who makes you happy because it's never going to be me.
Well, and that's what he was kind of trying to do with Meri at first, but then he wasn't telling her that. He was telling Suki that at tell-alls, at different one-on-one conversations. But he didn't have a one-on-one conversation with Meri about it, and that was upsetting for Meri. So, yeah, could he have taken that same approach for Christine? I feel like he would have been a little bit easier to deal with. And then why wouldn't Robyn be on board with that? She was very annoyed with all these pesky emotions that Kody had to process through, and the anger and the resentment and all the scary emotions that Kody had to deal with.
I don't think there's any way that Robyn would ever be supportive of him being supportive of a wife leaving, because that doesn't look good for them.
Well, then you made it worse.
Well, I don't think that it actually looks worse for them, but she perceives it as looking bad for them if they were to be supportive of a wife leaving, because it would entertain the narrative that she and Kody just want to get rid of everybody.
But then that in turn just makes your experience, Robyn, worse, because now Cody's miserable. And then he's taking it out on you and your kids in your house.
Well, now he is, but he had his pick of a couple of different wives to take it out on for a long time.
And then he started getting mixed up on his reasonings because stuff that he was mad about Meri about, that became Christine's fault, vice versa. He kind of just shuffled around the assignments as needed there.
I was really relieved to find out we are never going to get a montage of Kody and Robyn making out. As much as we've been playing this game of which couple is more fun and more in love, they're not going to be doing the makeouts publicly.
That's private.
Do you think they make out?
Kody and Robyn?
Kody and Robyn.
Do they make out?
Because she made it sound like it happens. She's just not going to do it in public because she's shy.
Yeah. Well, Kody kept protecting her because she is shy. He wouldn't put her in those precarious scenarios.
She wasn't shy the day that they made sure to kiss while Christine was in the hospital, even though they weren't married yet and they weren't supposed to be doing that. She wasn't shy to do that on camera.
What was the wedding day when they were chopping down trees? Christine's wedding day when they were cutting down trees and then aren't we just so happy for him? Weren't they trying to do some PDA stuff during that day too? Was he trying to smooch at her? Am I imagining that?
No, that was happening, but it wasn't like
It wasn't a makeout.
It wasn't getting to the level we get with Christine and David on camera.
No, but I remember her grabbing his face. I think it was because he started talking and he wouldn't stop talking. And Robyn was like, this is the only way I know how to make this guy shut up. I got to kiss him. And I think that was like the emergency ripcord that she had to pull as part of that interview.
Meri also is not going to be doing the PDA for us. Because if it gets to the point where it's like, hey, you should probably get a room, she's not into that.
She keeps it classy.
Is that going to fly with the massholes, though? Because that's what we're trying to manifest for her.
I think most of the displays of affection would be done in private. I think. I would assume, right?
I don't know. I feel like anything goes at a Dunkin'.
Okay. I don't know. Yeah, I guess we'll have to see. Depends on if you're going in or if you're going to the drive-thru. It depends. Did you like how Robyn blamed everyone, though, for the reason why she wasn't as big on PDA? Because it was their family system that she married into, and she had to suppress her love for Kody?
Yeah, but she insisted on so many other things being changed in the family that she wanted to be the way that her kids either previously had experienced that throughout their lives or just that she personally preferred. But this was the one thing that I guess she couldn't overcome, that she kept her mouth quiet about because it was a touchy subject.
Here's the interesting part. I remember in earlier seasons where the OG three wives did have issues with Robyn. So she didn't take that to heart. She was still being affectionate in front of other wives, even when they told her, hey, we don't really do that here.
Wasn't that a big part of one of their Valentine's Day episodes where Robyn was trying to tell them their rules are really stupid?
Yes.
And they were like, well, they're not stupid because it bothers me to see Kody being affectionate with someone when he's back at my house telling me what a horrible human I am and that he doesn't love me.
You foul beast. I don't want to be with you on Valentine's Day. Maybe you should make yourself more lovable.
You're going to have to take that again.
Oh?
Give it to us in the voice.
Oh, you foul beast. I don't want to be around you unless you make yourself more lovable.
Happy Valentine's Day, love, Kody.
Happy Valentine's Day.
They also brought up that story about Janelle's mom telling Kody not to do the PDAs anymore. That was making Janelle really uncomfortable.
Janelle forgot that entirely, I guess. She was like, it was never really an issue for me. I didn't really care. I didn't think about it too much. But then cut to Kody telling us about how Janelle's mom had to come to him and was like, hey, this was in the book too, where it was Janelle's mom had to tell Kody, you need to tell Meri to back off with the PDA.
Maybe Janelle's mom was just uncomfortable.
Maybe Janelle was telling her mom about it and she was like, hey, Janelle told me to say something, but it was actually just coming from her directly.
No, I think that he interpreted it as it was because of the way I think he interpreted it was that Janelle was making a complaint to her mom, but really it was just Cheryl was deeply uncomfortable.
Probably.
With what she was witnessing while she was visiting them.
I could see that being a thing. Well, they talked about it in the book too, where it was movie nights where Janelle felt like a third wheel because it was Kody and Meri canoodling on the couch. And then Janelle was just off in the recliner on the other side of the room. So she blocked that out, I guess. Pretty good. Didn't remember that.
That was something I would have enjoyed them talking more about. But they kind of just bulldozed right past it.
Well, and then they hit a roadblock here because then Suki is trying to ask about something where Kody was remembering getting kicked out of a family event recently. Well, he wouldn't say if it was recently, but he was kicked out of a family event.
Did he
with
say
Robyn.
A family event where they got kicked out of the family? Because he's used that language before too.
I don't know. It sounded like there was a particular incident and then he didn't want to talk about that specific incident that took place. But then he did mention that he was scared of Meri and Janelle. So it had something to do with them, one of them or both of them, or that's just who he's built up in his mind as far as how that confrontation went.
No, I read this as complete bullshit because he ends up saying it's a story that can't be told. That's because you don't remember the details or you've made the entire thing up.
J-Lo told a love story that could not be told. So I think it's time for Kody to go ahead and give it a shot here.
At the end of the day, it really just comes down to the fact that people hate true love. And so he and Robyn are being persecuted because their love is so deep and so genuine that people hate it.
True love. That dream Within a dream. True love means wrath. That's what it means to Kody. Why is love and wrath so closely aligned in his emotional spectrum?
He said that? Wrath?
Wrath was the other...
He said that in this episode?
In this episode, in his conversation with Suki, he was talking about love, true love, and how that elicits a response from people, and that's wrath. That's the experience that Kody and Robyn have had for their true love. Well, maybe if it's true love at the expense of an entire family, yeah, that's probably an issue. Like there's a responsibility that's there. I think that's what the OG3 have always argued here, is that we didn't just want the man, we wanted the family. That's been made abundantly clear.
Maybe don't treat everyone else like shit except for the person that you're truly in love with.
Yeah, because I think that was the challenge, right? Was that it was always elevate the relationships. And they kind of talked about that the last episode, where that wasn't an answer for this. He wasn't able to transform all the other wives into Robyn. But I think it was maybe like you need to explore this deep appreciation that you have of Robyn. You need to find that same level of appreciation in all of your other wives. Like, is that the challenge? Isn't that the call in the direction of plural marriage?
Well, isn't it funny that in the end, the fact that Kody and Robyn were so in love that the other wives realized their relationships actually weren't that, and that they just wanted that's what it all boiled down to. So really, if Robyn never joined the family, how long would it have taken them to realize that these relationships weren't as deep as they thought they were?
Well, I mean, we only publicly know them with Robyn in the mix because, I mean, they were courting, but she was around as part of the documentation that we have available. So we don't really know, aside from what they tell us in the book, which we know is pretty unreliable. But hey, we're going to be going through the book.
We are, guys. The book club starts as soon as the tell-alls end. We're going back to Robyn's #1 New York Times bestseller, Becoming Sister Wives. And we'll be talking about it here week by week. As long as it takes us to trudge through it.
Those will be the podcast episodes after the season ends. So yeah, the party don't stop. But what did stop? Meri and Robyn's relationship. I think we can go ahead and just close the book on that one.
Can we really call it a friendship? Was it ever a friendship, or was it a relationship of convenience because Robyn wanted to date Meri's husband?
Well, Meri was always confused because then people always credit Meri as introducing them, but it was divine intervention that Robyn met Kody.
Well, we know that now. The lightning bolts.
They locked eyes from across the pew. The lightning bolt moment.
The loins lit a fire, and there was no way to put it out.
There's no coming back from that.
Uh-huh.
But for Meri and Robyn, they did start off close. I think there was a genuine friendship, but I think it was more so functional for Robyn to be friends with Meri. She saw Meri as an in.
I think she needed Meri because Christine was not into Robyn joining the family, and that appeared to be pretty obvious. And I think Janelle was more apathetic.
Yeah, she was probably like apprehensive, but not to the point of being against it. The way that Christine was like scared and not on board.
There were a lot of times, if you go back and watch the early seasons, where they're on the couch and Robyn does rely on Meri being the one to back her up.
She's the enforcer. Yeah.
She's here to bully other wives into letting Robyn into the family.
Pretty much. That's what's going on.
But the real issue, they never recovered from COVID. That's what Meri says.
They didn't recover from COVID? That's what she attributed that to? She's attributing the loss of their friendship to long COVID. Robyn's still short of breath.
No, she has prairie dog plague amnesia. That's what's going on.
The mold spores are accumulating.
Yeah, the mold in their house.
It's a big problem.
It's just one environmental factor after another.
I liked the part where Christine was laughing during the clips because it was Kody talking about how Robyn's very sensitive to come over and give this final junk journal gift to Meri because she's very distraught about Meri moving away.
She's not well.
Not well about this. And Christine laughed and had to compose herself during the clip.
Which we didn't get a follow-up to. If you give us a big reaction, I want to see what other commentary Christine has.
Yeah, we got to follow up on that. But I think she did kind of point it out where it was like, they didn't have a friendship. Robyn was using Meri and then continuing to string Meri along. So that wasn't good. That wasn't a supportive friendship that you would describe it as.
The thing that was annoying about that clip to me was that once again, Kody's making the whole thing about Robyn and Robyn's emotions. While it was a pretty big day for Meri that she's moving all of her stuff out after having decided to leave you, after many, many years of being strung along, it kind of seems like the emotions of the day would be with Meri.
She has decided to pack the U-Haul. It was like I think what it tied back to as well was the rejection when Robyn tried to hang out with Meri after Meri had moved away, when she was back in town and was like, hey, we should get together for a girls' night out at probably Salsa Brava. More likely than not.
Josephine's
attic with the haunted dollies. BYOD. I think that's what's going on. So the rejection that happened was when Meri declined the invite that Robyn extended and told her, I don't know how to be friends with my ex-husband's wife.
That's where Meri messed up for me, because is it really about that? Or is it about the fact that when you actually lived right down the street from them and you were ready and willing to meet up with Robyn and go do things together?
Ready and willing.
Very ready and willing and primed.
She is ready
to
go.
She ghosted you. And now that the relationship has ended, she wants to have a girls get together.
Well, I think that's where it's confusing, because Meri's not making it clear that I think it's weird that you want to hang out with me now that I've left the family, when you very clearly did not want to hang out with me when I was trapped, stuck here, and alone and isolated within the family.
Exactly. That's the bullshit, is that all of this time went on where you didn't make any attempt to make this relationship work. But now that everything's over, you want a friendship with me? I don't know how I feel about that.
And in a way, that still feels one-sided, because then it's Robyn still wanting to be friends, even though you're divorced now. So Robyn just continues to get what she wants out of this at her own discretion. Like, that's the weird part for me. It's kind of a strange dynamic that evolves and continues to evolve here, because the whole situation is weird.
I'm not going to lie. I would hold it against her that she didn't help me pack.
I would be upset. That's upsetting. And then to bring a junk journal and force me to open it the day that I'm still packing up the truck.
They didn't ask any questions about the junk journal. That was disappointing to me.
Maybe they're saving that for the last part.
You think? We're going to dig into Robyn's Etsy purchase history?
And David still hasn't mentioned drywall, but there's time, guys. There's one more episode. One more to go.
She wouldn't watch that whole clip either of the goodbye. It's just too painful for her, I guess.
She just zoned out again. I'm telling you, VR headset, strap that puppy on there. There's no escape.
I wanted to know more about how she found out that Meri was talking shit about the gift. She didn't say that here. It was in one of the episodes earlier this season.
Well, she probably saw the clip. Maybe in the next episode. Jen and Meri talking shit.
Yeah, when are we going to bring Jen out? Because we're talking about her, so if everyone's going to bring her up, why can't she come out on stage?
Well, the interesting part was, Kody was attributing Jen is jealous of Robyn, so she needs to drive a wedge between Meri and Robyn, making Meri think she can't trust Robyn, because then that keeps Jen close to Meri as her BFF.
Okay, sure.
That feels like a lot of extra steps. That feels like a whole other roundabout way to come to the conclusion of, I don't really like Robyn.
I mean, if Robyn really wants to be friends with Meri, then she should just apply for a job with Meri.
Oh, see, that's
Isn't
the problem.
That how it works?
They
but
haven't been working.
Work.
They haven't been working at My Sister Wife's Closet together anymore. So that's where they had their falling out.
My Sister Wife's Closet. That's another thing that better come up in part 4. Otherwise, I'm going to fire Suki or the editing team. She better have asked the question.
Either that, and also I didn't like when Suki was talking about Meri's response being icy at the moving day, where Meri was attributing Robyn's having an emotional response. That's not my emotional response, and it's not my doing. I'm not doing anything to actively elicit this response. This is just Robyn freaking out about me moving, about me leaving, but there's nothing I can do about that, because if I stayed to pacify her, then what does that look like? That looks like the last 10 years of my life.
I guess boundaries our icy communication.
Right? Yeah. Like personal accountability for someone's own emotions.
You have to watch that entire segment to really get the full emotion, which I'm guessing Suki didn't do.
She didn't feel it the way we felt it.
Right? Watching Robyn come in and suck all of the energy out of the room, which Meri's been accused of doing before. But Robyn did it this time.
I think it was Suki's response was to Meri's reactions when she was explaining that part too of Robyn's having a reaction. Normally Meri would go into, I have to fix it. What do I have to do? Oh, it's my fault. Taking that stuff on herself.
Not my job to regulate Robyn's emotions anymore.
Why is that a ridiculous concept? And why should I be viewed as cruel for having that response? So that part kind of bothered me a little bit too.
How about when she asked Robyn, would you be friends with Meri still? And she responded, oh yeah, sure.
I need to see a little bit more from Meri though, because I think neither one of us are putting in effort and neither one of us are seeing an effort reciprocated. Okay, so I don't think you guys are friends then. Like, that doesn't sound like you want to be in contact with a person then.
Take out your phone and let's see the last time you texted Meri.
Thanksgiving?
No.
She asking for
She'll never do it.
A turkey recipe? Who's got the better turkey? We got to find out. Kody's going to do a taste test live on air.
Ugh.
A hidden taste test.
No, we got close to that with the tongue lick. I didn't need the sound effect.
Yep.
That made it significantly
worse. That was what upset Janelle with all of the PDA replays too. She was like, I could have done without the sound effects. Maybe we could tone that down next time.
The noise is a little bit much for me.
The sounds, yeah.
Too much of a sensory experience.
I don't need to feel like I'm right there.
We kind of get into a David versus Kody section here, which boils down to the luggage rack scandal.
And this was kind of a mix-in of, this was Christine's venting to David, the camping trip makeup debacle that took place, that conversation when they were moving Janelle out to North Carolina. And there's kind of mixed reactions on this, because I think Meri's shocked that this conversation is even taking place.
Why, though? You complained to Jen. That's your person that you complained to.
But she's not dating Jen. She's not engaged to Jen. She's not married to Jen legally.
Maybe spiritually.
Maybe at this point. I don't know. Kindred spirits. But Robyn's stunned at these allegations. Janelle is laughing because she's remembering back. Yeah, I remember that camping trip. It was terrible.
She loves when Christine goes on a rant because she says things that Janelle will never say.
That she's wanted to say.
Yes.
Or would talk about privately with Christine, and then Christine goes and says it on camera.
Yeah,
and
so
then
she's
Janelle
loving that.
Is ready to talk about it a little bit more. Yeah, provide some more context for us here. But the luggage rack, it becomes the big debate topic here. As long as the bed is not where the luggage goes, then I think I'm okay. But Janelle saying that she had to leave hers on the floor, that bothered me too.
You had other options, girl.
Yeah.
There's other furniture in the hotel room.
Yeah. You can move it around, but just not on the bed.
I really don't care about the luggage rack, and they're talking about it so literally, where I think the point of the whole story is that this is just symbolic of their relationships with Kody, where when it came to his relationship with Christine and Janelle and Meri, he put himself first. But in his relationship with Robyn, he's more worried about her needs and is concerned with her getting what she wants.
Well, Kody was ready to argue the semantics and definitions of a luggage rack. I think he thought they meant like the luggage rack on a car.
On top of the car?
Yeah.
Maybe you're right, because he was like, well, there was no luggage rack when Christine and I went on our honeymoon because we had a road trip.
And Suki's like, okay, you guys didn't stop off at a hotel?
Did you sleep in the car? Because what do you mean?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
You never stayed in a hotel your entire marriage to Christine.
At the hotel, you mean? That luggage rack. Oh, well, I don't remember because that's not important.
Where have you ever interacted with a luggage rack that was not a hotel room?
Couldn't tell you. Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
He really just didn't have a response to this. So he was trying to bring up something else.
He was
trying to deflect.
Yeah, he was trying to change it. And then, do you have a room here for where you came? Do you have a hotel key on you? Could we go check your room? Does Robyn get the luggage rack?
That's what's happening in our tell-all, where someone is actively outside of the room picking the locks, ready to zoom in like were on Jerry Springer and reveal whose luggage is on the luggage rack right now.
Well, that's funny that you mentioned that, Kody, because we have a live camera in your hotel room. Is that your suitcase up there, or is that Robyn's? Because I do see the luggage rack.
It's just full of purple clothes and towels.
I think that might be a Robyn rack. It's looking like a Robyn rack. Robyn didn't even argue.
No, she admits it.
She admits it right away, which then that takes the fun out of it, because then we would have had the whole camera set up to go barge into their hotel room. And then she would have just said, yeah, I don't even know why it's such a big deal. It's not a big thing. And I think that's what bothers me about Robyn, is where it's not a big thing because it's never been an issue for you. But it is a big thing because Christine and Janelle never experienced this version of Kody that you keep interacting with. And it's confusing.
It speaks to his lack of thoughtfulness for them. Even though I don't even remember that there's a luggage rack half the time when I'm in a hotel room.
It's a point of consideration. Don't use the wooden ones, only the stainless steel, the chrome ones. The wooden ones can get little buggies.
Bed bugs and
little
things?
buggies and stuff in them. Ugh. Yeah, don't do that. But Christine finally reacts to the truth. That is what we are left with at the end of this episode. Robyn gets the luggage rack and
just mouth agape.
Is speechless.
Do you agree with Kody that Christine's going to spend the rest of her life comparing herself to Robyn? That was quite the accusation as well.
I don't think it's comparing herself to Robyn. I think it's looking back at the injustices that were done to you in your first marriage. I think that's the comparison point. So I think it's a way for Kody to distance himself. It's not the comparison of Christine comparing Kody and David. He's going to put it in his head as, oh, it's Christine comparing herself against Robyn. Because if he knows that he's up against David in comparison,
he thinks David's a great guy.
He thinks David's a pretty cool guy.
He knows how much better David is than him.
Kody's still looking for a father figure of his own. That's why he wants to hang out with David so bad.
We better see that next season. A few announcements before we go. Thank you to everybody who took the survey that we mentioned a few weeks ago. Really appreciate that. I know it took a little bit more time than you probably expected.
I'll be honest with you, if a podcaster asked me to do that and I showed up to do that survey that we asked you to fill out, I probably wouldn't have done it. So I commend all of you who did go through with it, because that thing took a solid 15 minutes. So that really means a lot. Thank you.
Also, we mentioned earlier that our plan for after the tell-all ends this next week is that we are going into our Sister Wives book club in preparation, really, for Christine's book drop in September.
So we're getting ready. Yeah, it's like the book club before the book club. So we're going to brush up. Kayla brush up on the family lore in Robyn's #1 New York Times bestseller.
And we've got another podcast called Surviving Reality. Right now we're digging into some true crime, which is going to be a lot of fun. We have heard the people. They are demanding that we talk about the staircase, specifically the owl theory.
I almost said the bird theory, but yes, it's more specific than that. More refined.
And we're gathering our facts. We're going to be ready for trial.
Building the case.
That, and then this week, Netflix is dropping the Titan submersible doc that we've been waiting for.
So that'll be later this week. Keep an eye out for that. That's probably going to drop as a bonus one.
So be sure to follow us over there, and we'll see you next week.